Hello, welcome to your reading. Thank you so much for your patience. It's been a wild time for me lately. As I was explaining to my previous reading, on my previous reading. So, yeah, let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. The clock rolling. Thank you for your patience as well. I have had to go 100% last week on studying for my license exam. I had to pass it by like, I thought it was November, but it turns out it was December, like both exams. I haven't passed the driving part yet, which should be easy. And I passed it. It was like literally a Mission Impossible test. Like, I'm so happy, so grateful that it's over with. I did memorize 1,600 questions. So yeah, so basically just like a little bit about how I've been doing my readings lately. I have preferred to, for the most part, share a screen. I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I'll go back and forth and show my face, but I like to do lots of like random things when I'm doing readings to kind of get me in a flow state, like meditating, closing my eyes, having a chart in my head, working with crystals, walking around, whatever it is. So let's go ahead and share the screen. So loaded first house, Libra rising with Venus rising. And you have Jupiter and Venus in that first house. What a blessing. What a blessing to the body, and what a blessing to just the personality. Just that usually creates I always like when I say like attractiveness, I'm not referring to like just pure like beauty or something like that. Like what, like it can definitely be that, but definitely like an attractive energy that like brings lots of people to you. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. And yeah, Scorpio Sun conjunct Uranus. Very interesting. Damn. That's a very interesting one because Uranus is about change, and it's very like freedom seeking, and the Sun Scorpio, as you know, it's Sun Scorpio. Well, it's gonna say, um, it's also about change in its own way. It's two different types of change. It's like one part of you, the Scorpio part, is more about that really intense death, rebirth, transformation type of change, where Scorpios they go through really intense times in their life that can kind of signify like ego deaths in a sense. And yeah, the whole point is for them to kind of deepen themselves spiritually, and it's a beautiful thing. So that is interesting. Let's see here. The moon is in 0 degrees Capricorn. Interesting. We're born in Honolulu. Okay, I see. On the IC, or very close to being conjunct the IC, and then you have, and this is like why you were drawn to me as an astrologer, because your Mars and Neptune conjunction is exactly conjunct my 21-degree Sagg Moon. So yeah, first of all, okay, so what is a 0-degree Capricorn Moon, and how does it relate to the Scorpio Sun with Uranus? Well, basically, a good way to think about it is that 0 degrees is a critical degree in that basically everything is new. So it can sometimes create like a certain naivete. Not always, and it's not necessarily a bad kind. But it just means that karmically you are very new to this energy that is Capricorn Moon. So, but overall, regardless of any of that, Capricorn Moon is all about, it's very, very karmic, people who have it. And it's all about getting past, or better I can say like this, liquefying crystallized emotional patterns. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is represented by rock, right? And so I talk a lot about Capricorn moons in my posts. And I think, the thing, like it's Capricorn moon is so difficult for a male in today's world, because they almost have to always keep this energy, like, or a lot of them feel like they have to always keep this energy of, and they tend to do it successfully, of like always having their shit together. But what can happen, is that it can really make them shy away from vulnerability, from expressing their true self. I found that I have a lot of female friends who have Capricorn moon, and I found it to be a lot easier, because females typically are able to express their emotions with more ease in today's society than men. Of course, it's not always the case, but just in general. So, these are two very serious signs, Scorpio and Capricorn, right? And the Capricorn part is definitely, really, really, it's kind of like I always see what I call like the karmic impetus in different readings I do for people. And what I mean by that when I say it is that there's a certain point in charts, right, that points to where that person, like what pushed that person into a spiritual life, a life of deeper awareness. And a lot of times it's painful experiences at the origin, which lead to the need for some type of change. As I said before, with Scorpio, and with Capricorn, it's similar, just it's a different process. So let me sip my kombucha really quick. So, Capricorn moons, another thing about them is that they can be the kind of, like, they have an emotional need for really being on top of everything. They can be workaholics. They really, like, they have an emotional need to kind of feel like they're doing good in society. Like, the highest vibe of Capricorn is like someone like MLK, just high, super honor, like very traditional. And it's conjunct your IC, so that would speak to like potentially like I think that's and I get this with so many of my clients, and we'll see if there's more clues about this, but the potential for you to be the one to kind of break some kind, like you basically being someone that is maybe, and I'd have to do like a family reading to really like fully break this down, which I do those too, in case you're wondering. But basically, like you're it's likely that you're the one who's carrying a lot of the karmic weight of your family, even ancestors and stuff, and you're kind of like the chosen one. And this is like just like from what I'm seeing so far, when it comes to breaking this like transgenerational trauma, or just these like very toxic cycles, right, that have been passed down. And through that Capricorn moon, so like I told you before, there's a great need for honor, and a lot of, sometimes they care too much about what other people think of them, especially when younger, and they let kind of like other people's like views of what they should do kind of interfere with their own like ideas, their own individualistic ideas, which is very interesting with the fact that your sun is conjunct Uranus, which is like the Aquarius energy, which is very individualistic. But yeah, besides that, Capricorn moons, like you know, they have difficulty with vulnerability. Things get a lot easier after the Saturn return at 30 years old, for sure. But you know, it's you have a Capricorn moon and it's square. Look, square. It's 90-degree angle or 85, but still, you know, well in orb with Saturn. So what does that say? You know, a lot like people who have that tend to be shy, or at least have been shy until like the Saturn return. So definitely a Saturn return, a big revelation time, a time where you like really like broke free of a lot of kind of like a weight off your shoulder really got lifted, right? Like a kind of karmic energetic weight. Now, with that said, just one moment. You know, it creates someone who has trouble expressing their emotions, has trouble with vulnerability, which can have massive relationship issues, especially, you know, like I said, when young. And being at 0 degrees, there can be, you know, this kind of like newness to the energy. So it can almost sometimes like not that there's even such thing as like a retrograde moon, but it can kind of be like play out that way. In the sense that like makes someone way more like internal, and they can keep a lot really stuck in themselves emotionally. So when I say liquefying stuck crystallized emotional patterns, it can be from past lives, typically is, or in your case on the IC, it could be that you're carrying this for like your entire bloodline. You know, because you know your natal sun and moon are very like serious. It's nothing about those two signs, Capricorn and Scorpio, is about messing around, you know. So yeah, what else? Cat moon. So yeah, how does cat moon? And there's more. I'll kind of circle back like and forth, like with little like bits of information about different placements. But you know, how does it relate to Scorpio? And you have to know, like, any astrologer that would give you a reading that would not talk about that Uranus, how important it is that Uranus is conjunct your sun, is not an astrologer. They're just not. Even astrologers that have like more followers than me don't understand this. It's fucking crazy. Like, aspects are the most important thing. Being a Scorpio on its own is way different than being a Scorpio sun with Uranus. Uranus, it makes you kind of like a Scorpio / Aquarius. Now, I know that sounds extreme, and it was meant to be extreme because it's not like exactly like you're like as Aquarius as you are Scorpio, but the point is that I wanted to like hyperbolize that to make it like really make you understand that, like, Uranus is the planet of liberation, the planet of someone who is a rebel, someone who wants to do things their own way. And Scorpio is the sign related to Pluto, which is about death, rebirth, transformation, about going deep within the unconscious. And you know, it's in the second house, so it's really based on finding, you know, personal resources, like where you're not relying on other people, where you're going, where you like meditation is a perfect example, right? Where you're fine, and it's also like really based on self-esteem and value. So being with what I said before about the Capricorn moon, they can be so hard on themselves, right? And even the Scorpio, like they can be so hard on themselves. Capricorn moons, they can be like self-critical, perfectionist. You know, them in Virgo, like so like perfectionist, and just like, you know, it can Capricorn moons have a tendency for depression, and when square Saturn, like I would wager, I could be wrong. I'm totally cool with being wrong. That's why I don't like like that's why we have the follow-up session. That's why, you know, we're going to talk about how it relates to your lived experience, but that you've, you know, had bouts with, you know, with depression, melancholy, and maybe even like, you know, diagnosed levels. Who knows? I mean, a lot of Capricorn, and it doesn't have to be diagnosed. You know, some people, they just, especially Capricorn moons, like they won't admit it. You know, like my brother's a Capricorn moon. I'm not saying he's like depressed. I'm just saying like it's a difficult placement that I know very, very well. So yeah, like emotional obstacles, right? You feel like you're moving forward and something keeps pulling you back. But then you hit 30 and things just like you probably went through really like, I really want to know what happened during your Saturn return. But you know, shit just changes and you feel like there's like this weight lifted off your shoulder, which is such a beautiful thing. And I think like Capricorn moons and people that have Saturn, like, you know, influencing them a lot. Like it's just like I can't wait for my brother. He's just about to go through it. Like starting in March. I know it's not going to be pretty, but I'm very excited for him on an energetic level, just knowing who he is at a heart level. Like hopefully to get, you know, come out on the other side as like a different version of himself, which I pray. I know it's going to be great. But there's just so much pushback that, and you know, and I said that the whole male female thing, I swear to God, like I'm not like I know that some, you know, males are like that's not a gender thing, because I know males with Capricorn moons who are in touch with their feminine side. Like one of my favorite people, like astrologer friends, is a Capricorn moon, and he's totally like done like this thing. So it's not about like your gender. It's about like, you know, if you subscribe to kind of the mainstream be a man type thing, right? And even some women are the opposite, where they subscribe to that, right? A lot of times the mother, you know, was very tough. Like both parents are probably like I don't know, like probably pretty tough. Like, you know, maybe the mother was quite strict and quite kind of cold and distant, and perhaps the father, you know, perhaps there, you know, there were like, let's see the aspects, oh yeah, okay, never mind. Perhaps I don't know. The father, I'm getting mixed signals. Like maybe the father was like someone who was quite powerful, but very, very kind of like unexpected, maybe like just like a very interesting person, but he could also have been like a very like like someone where like, you know, and there's always love between the family members, but like maybe there was like kind of like power struggles with the father, you know, and there's very power struggles, and you know, no, okay, never mind. Those are like, you know, probably what made you want to rebel, right? So very important stuff. And just overall, you know, two very serious signs. So like the Scorpio type of transformation and change is, like I said, going deep, you know, having like a lot of times difficult events that push you into yourself, that kind of bring you to this place of change. The Uranus version, Uranus version is a lot more about like it's like the Great Liberator. So it's a lot of people that have Sun square, mostly yeah. Like I think that people who have Sun, like my friend Mia, she's an Aquarius already. Sun conjunct Uranus, they are aliens. Like you just like they're so hard to understand. They usually have a very, very specific and special life purpose. I know it sounds like a blank, like kind of blanket statement. Not really. I don't say that often. And sometimes it takes them a while to figure it out, right? And sometimes there's lots of like changing, like lots of just like personal transformations that happen on like the kind of like more dark level, but also on the more just like that take more time, like a process. But then there's other ones that just kind of happen. Like Uranus is like very quick, while Scorpio kind of takes its time to kind of probe deep and deep and deep and deep and deep. So yeah, that's definitely one aspect of that whole thing. So yeah, and make sure to, like, with this first reading, I'll give you a little lowdown really quick. Let me have another sip first, though. So my readings get very deep. They're very multifaceted. To get the full, I'll show my face for this part. So to get the full benefit from like my services, I would say, like, I mean, everyone's different. Like, everyone has, like, you know, a certain amount of time. Everyone kind of is choosing like what to invest like energetically in this reading. I mean, honestly, my prices could be 4 times higher. It's just how it is. I just decided to keep them at this point, and I'm not at the status level where I could charge that much. But even if I could, I wouldn't, right? But basically, like, you know, most people, like, the first time, I always tell them, like, just watch it through. Like, there'll be things like I'll tell you, like, make sure you remind me this for the follow-up, because I will forget. I have like a million readings to do. I'm so behind. No, I'm not behind. I'm right on time. Right on time. But yeah, then like a lot of people watch it like 3 times. It's always three or 4. But like, I swear, like, or at least the people who take it seriously and who get the most out of it, they watch it 3 times. With that said, one other thing. So like during like the second, third time, that's maybe when more notes can be taken that can be applied. I know my eyes are red. I slept. I've been sleeping with all 3 cats because I was getting like some bites on my head, even though there's like no insects in my house. And my cat Mika just like was like licking. She like does this thing where she just licks my nose, like, and she was just doing it nonstop. And I've been having these back pains too. So yeah, but I'm totally like mentally like okay. So continue as saying just really quickly. So after the reading, right, we'll have a follow-up session. Now, I haven't told you this because it just came. I just started realizing this like in the last month, or I had the idea in the last month, and I think every single person besides one has done it, and every single person has loved it, right? So instead of just getting the follow-up, and you can just let me know, no pressure. You know, everyone has their own situation and whatever. Like, I'm just telling you that this is like what everyone has been doing, and everyone, and I haven't. It's been amazing experience for every person who's done it. So instead of just getting the follow-up, I give a reduced price current astrology reading, right? So this is the chart, the book of your life, right? We can call it that. The current astrology is this chapter, this current chapter, where you're at, like what transits are affecting you, right? Like right now I have Neptune on my, like, it's like right in between, it's like nearly conjunct my sun, and it's just past the square of my moon, sun/Mercury. So it's just like, it's very confusing, but it's also really good for spirituality and things like astrology. But that's just like one like minor example, like, right? So I have tons of predictive techniques that are very good. So what I do, and this is the magic of it, and it just came to me, and I was like, that's the best. And I did the sessions, like, these are so much better than my other current astrology readings, because the first hour is the follow-up. We're only talking about this, right? Birth chart. Then it's a seamless transition to current astrology. And because I have all of your chart in my head, it has made incredible like readings, like slow return readings. I do everything, you know, like I don't just do slow return, I do slow return, progressions, transits, house ingress, annual perfections. I think I'm forgetting one. They say slower arc. What am I forgetting? Either way, progressions. I think they say that. Yeah. So it's a great reading. It ends up being you know, around like 2.5 to 3 hours. So I only do like three or 4 of those a week. So yeah, you can let me know about that. And usually the price is $250. But I would give you a $30 discount for that reading. You just have to tell me, remind me, and I'll give you the code. And trust me, it's deep, in depth, but like, yeah, like that reading like ends up being like usually around 3 hours, like 1 hour for the first one And I say 1.5 to 2 for the current. I did have one the other day that was like 2 hours and 15 minutes, although we did kind of mess around for a little bit. So yeah, usually they're like exactly 3 hours or a little bit, yeah, more, a little bit less. Okay, back to the reading. So I just want to kind of put that out there. You can let me know. You will know best. So yeah, anyways, let me stare at this with this one crystal. It always gives me all the answers. No, it doesn't give me the answers, but it helps me connect deeper. So, step one, getting past the boundaries of, a lot of cat moons can be very insecure and have poor self-image, be very shy, feel very restricted emotionally, which can keep them away from authentic, close relationships. So that's step one. Where's your Chiron? Let's see if it's somewhere synchronistic. Taurus. There you go. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it does make complete sense, right? Because Taurus, Chiron means that your pain is around self-esteem. Actually, it is very synchronistic, right? It's around finding a set of values. Like, it's very important for you karmically to find a set of values, right? And this is where your sun and Uranus is too. With your North Node, right? North Node is like the destiny point in Leo. So this is why you've been drawn to. Wow, holy shit. That's crazy. We have exact, to the degree, opposite South Node, North Node. So we have opposite karma. So I'm like your past life tendency is exactly what I'm trying to get to in this lifetime. And that's why you're drawn to me. I get so many clients that have their South Node in Aquarius and North Node in Leo, because I have the opposite, and they feel like my Leo energy and like what I have like naturally is what they're trying to get with, which is like, I'll go further into that later, but like a lot of it is about like stepping into your power, stepping into your power, stepping into like being okay to take center stage, being okay to, like, you spent so many past lives being about, but they're in opposite sides. Ooh, no, okay, now I see this thing that 2-3 years ago I would have been head scratching, but now I get it. So they're actually in opposite signs. So it's actually about balancing out Aquarius and Leo, which is super interesting because they're very similar but still different. So when I think about that karmically, what I think is like, how in this lifetime can you be someone who is, well, actually it makes more sense just by looking at the North Node, with the ruler in the second house, like someone who's very solid in their convictions and who can give back to humanity, and who can still take all of their past life skills of being a great leader and being someone of passion, who goes towards what they want, in the group context, in the humanitarian context, right? And your South Node, being ruled by Uranus, which is also conjunct your sun, is kind of interesting also, and just speaks to the similarities of the two. Let me think about that. That's really, really interesting. Holy shit. And then they're square the sun. Wow. What the fuck? Not in a bad way, what the fuck? It's just like, damn. This is so much information. I'm usually able to compute everything. But this, what the fuck does that mean? Let me think about this for a second. I definitely need to think about this. Okay, so you're trying to become more Leo. You're trying to become, but also like not to the point to where you're doing things just for your personal gain, right? Or like where you're doing things just for you. So it's like find that mix between selfishness, right? Like not bad selfishness, like good selfishness, but still like being correct when it comes to like being there for humanity, joining groups of like-minded people that you can really shine in. And by shine, I don't mean shine in like an egotistical way. I mean shine in like a authentic way, like authentic self-expression, where you can express true self in the groups, right? That true Uranus conjunct Moon, Scorpio, that needs to come out. But okay, what's really interesting, okay, so the sun is squaring the nodes, which means that okay, now it makes sense to me. Now it makes sense. Oh shit, this is so crazy. So okay, this is what it's, I think this would make more sense. I think in Placidus, I guarantee you I'm gonna load this up in Placidus and it's gonna instantly make more sense to me. Watch this. Watch it not. Nope. Everything stays the same because your ascendant is 6 degrees. Wow. So interesting. That's good that you have a chart like that, because it just means that your chart doesn't change much from Placidus to whole signs. So basically what I'm getting is this. Check this out. So in past lives, because you know it's also square Uranus, meh, no 10-degree orb, I'd say probably not. But okay, so your ego, right? Your sense of self, your sense of identity in past lives was held back because of conditioning, because of like this somewhat of a failure to be your authentic self, right? You were held back in that kind of sense. So in this lifetime, the reason you're having but there's this real energy of like this kind of like parts of you were and parts of you weren't. That's what's so crazy about this. I don't know if I'm confusing you. I hope not. But the reason you have, you know, these energies in your chart, the Uranus there, is because you're meant to break free in this lifetime, right? From any kind of structures that are very rigid and all that and controlling. And I think in past lives, you know, the sun being square the nodes can speak to like being really like your individuality being very held back and almost maybe potentially even controlled in past lives, right? It's like the skip step. So it indicates the essential part I'm reading now of the current life energy and purpose. The sun is to resolve the issues symbolized by the square of the node axis, which I talked about. You know, individualism versus like, you know, well, they're both individualistic, but Leo versus Aquarius, right? I already talked about it. And it's in the 5th and 11th, which are the houses. Like this is the house of Aquarius, and you have Leo in it, and this is the house of Leo, and you have Aquarius in it because you're Libra rising, so everything's juxtaposed. This placement indicates the current life as a critical one for the resolution of the unresolved material. This material is experienced in this life as part of the core nature of the individuality and sense of personal meaning. This placement has echoes of the symbolism of the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell, as you know, and can involve the individual having to create or maintain a personal vision in isolation or in conflict with others around them in their life. As such, it represents a challenge to individuate. Oh, that last sentence hit deep. When it hits deep, I know it's true. So a challenge with individualization. So that's a big thing. Breaking free. So yeah, so that's kind of what it is. And you need to find friend groups that help you move towards that more. The cats are fighting. Friend groups and people, you know, with common interests and that, this, that, and the fourth. Very important. Then the whole Libra part of your chart, you see, I mean, how much is in Libra? Just loaded. I see Black Moon, I see Pluto conjunct. I have that conjunction too, but in Scorpio. Way more difficult over here. But then I also want to talk about, you know, this over here. The Venus is there. Okay, so let's start with this. The Mercury's. I might as well add Mercury and Scorpio station. So meaning that I don't have the ephemeris, is either, you know, about to go retrograde. It doesn't tell me if it was stationed direct or stationed retrograde. Basically, like, let me show my face for a little bit. Like basically, like, you know, that like you know when you I actually should I need to search that. I need to figure that out. I wish there was a way besides doing. I can go to 1980 ephemeris in November and see November 11th, 1980 ephemeris and see ephemeris. This just shows where all the planets were on those days. Hey guys, chill. Stop. Felix, chill. Don't give me that cute face. Okay. Yeah, you know, like when it's like just like recently, like when it's Mercury retrograde, but like right before it, it feels like, at least to a lot of people like myself, and maybe for you it's different. Okay, that like it feels even more Mercury retrograde before, like in like the shadow period, than it does like when we're actually in the full on Mercury retrograde. So that can be kind of be in your natal chart. Okay, so I see here that it was retrograde. So Mercury was retrograde, and then it's stationed direct, and then you were born, right? I guess this ephemeris is off by a little bit, but yeah, basically it's stationed. So it was pretty much like ending its retrograde. So that's key to know, because the retrograde was ending, so things were becoming more clear. So you'll be a very pensive person. And 1 second, let me look at one thing. Okay. Hold on. I'm looking for something. I admit, I don't know everything, but I do find it. I have my intuition, but I like to see, like, and I'm nearly always like, reinforced, but I'm looking for something. 1 second. Okay, tell me. Okay, I think I found. So Promethean retrograde. That's not it. Wait, is this the case? This is probably 15, not okay. No. I'm gonna have to pause this to find what I'm looking for. Okay, I found it. Yeah. Okay. So it's talking about how when a planet is stationing, particularly on the exact day, which yours was stationing, its energies and lessons are stronger than usual. For instance, I know a guy who was born on the day his Mercury stationed direct in Cancer. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that like because it's like it was retrograde for so long, it's still in a shadow period, but it's like when it like from our standpoint, Earth, it's like where it's stuck in the sky. It looks like that, right? And then it starts kind of moving in the normal. So he stuttered and talked with a list throughout his formative years and was teased and rejected by others, blah blah blah. Rejections of also maybe community his mother. So I think yeah, like it could be very good for like writing, very good for like being very like like a vivid imagination, introspective. 1 second. So it can kind of it can kind of give you a sense of a little kind of like a sense of like of Mercury retrograde, even though you don't have it. You're 1 day earlier you would have had it. Which makes one like very thoughtful. Like a lot of the conversations more inward, so they might be more shy. They might have like a different learning, kind of way of learning, and stuff like that. Um, 1 second. So yeah, like a strong focus to like to learn something related to Mercury in Scorpio. So like a strong focus for you to kind of like really dig deep into yourself on like a cognitive intellectual level, and connect the mind with that source of scorpionic death, rebirth, and transformation, that scorpionic ego death, just all the energy there. And yeah, it's unaspected too, which is of course that's what's implied. So when a planet is unaspected, when Mercury in specific is unaspected, that means that it has no checks and balances. It's like if I don't know, Trump or Erdogan or someone, I don't know why I just said those two names, and they're both like actually Erdogan's a Pisces Sag like me, and Trump's a same degree rising as me and same moon as me. I was like always like, what the fuck? But the Regulus part makes sense. Regulus is the asteroid that we both have rising. And no. Okay, let's see here. Hold on. Yeah, so unaspected Mercury people can talk a lot. It's in Scorpio, so it's stationed. So a lot of times it's like more like when you feel like more at ease with people around you. It's pretty rare, but I see it quite a bit with clients. It can make someone like very quick, unstable, changeable. But like since it's like it's stationed, it can kind of like be more like lots of like inner chatter and lots of inner learning. But that changes over time. It can create some nervousness, like intellectualizing emotions sometimes, which is totally like with the Capricorn Moon, and it's also sextiliant. And they can just say shit there's like no filter a lot of times on people they might just like blow up out of proportion. The beneficial part is that there's less inclination to become like scattered and distracted. It can make the mind kind of like this straight upward arrow. So very, very good for lots of things, but could also be very, very tough for lots of things. Okay. So with that said, okay, first house rule. Okay, so much going on in the first house. So let's start with the Ascendant in Libra. Okay, so I have to give you the big overarching Libra lesson. You have a lot of planets there. You have Venus, Ascendant. Then after that, you have outer planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and then also Pluto. You have Black Moon Lilith there, which is going to go with what I'm about to say, and then you have Juno there, which is an asteroid that, yeah, I'll talk about it. So, I don't know if I want to break down each one. Let's just start with, okay. So basically with Libra rising, you have to really watch out for people pleasing. Thanks. What are you doing? You have to really watch out for people pleasing, right? It creates someone who's very, especially with Venus and Venus rising or Jupiter rising and Venus, both of them rising, like that's insane. Like to have both of those planets rising, like the second you were born, Jupiter was like 4 degrees like under the horizon, so it was rising. It's close enough. And Venus was like 8 degrees above. So you have both of the 2 most beneficial planets on your rising. So even though you're Libra rising, you're and then Saturn was the closest though. So Saturn's kind of like trying to ruin the party, but it's not really working because like Venus plus Jupiter beats Saturn. But it kind of like it can kind of offshoot the Jupiter a little bit, right? But yeah, overall, like what I would say about that is that Libras, they have this tendency, to have balance at all costs, right? So it's like, even if that means putting themselves down to make sure the balance is good. So there can be like codependency issues, like where they're unwilling to give up on a relationship because they just don't want to upset other people. There can be tons of indecisiveness with Libra as well. So this is like the beauty of astrology. I'm going to show you this right now. This is just magic. How I just connected this. Not like saying see, as a Leo South node, I have to step away from comments like that. Not like as a Leo North node, you have to move towards like giving yourself your fucking flowers, But this is magic. So the fact that you have all this Libra, it connects directly with the fact that the second house energy with your Chiron in Taurus, which is like a crisis of values and self-esteem, it's all the cure to that is going deep within yourself and finding these like inner like an inner set of values, inner set of security, like almost like a very firm foundation. It's like your own like Declaration of Independence or like 10 Commandments. Like it's like your own version. I've never used that metaphor before. That's really what it is. Then you base all of your big things in life off of those, like your decisions, and that is the cure for so much in your chart. Is to really like go deep within and really figure out, what do I value? How do I want to live my life? How do I want to like respond to this situation? Because what can happen is that Libra can be very wishy-washy, right? So when Libra is kind of like not at that point where it's like, because it's the opposite sign of Aries, right? So sometimes even if it's not your sun sign, we act like our opposite sign. So in this case, Aries, or what Libra needs to take from Aries is that like that pioneering, I don't give a shit, take shit from no one, just move forward, like kind of almost like impulsive energy that can sometimes be like inconsiderate, of like other people, but at the end of the day, it's like a very positive thing, right? Because like Libras can spend too much time worrying about what other people think of them, or just like not even that, just like too much time. They sometimes can do that, and so can cat moons for sure. But too much time like like trying to make everyone happy when that's impossible. So once you realize that it's impossible, a lot opens up, and it's the life, the kind of the struggle, because having Venus and Jupiter, so close to your ascendant, even with Saturn there, the Saturn's going to make you more responsible, right? Saturn by itself would make someone, it can make someone a little bit more boring, someone a little bit more like prone to kind of looking more kind of like cold and depressed. But having Jupiter and Venus there, it's going to make you beautiful. It's going to make you like super expansive with a sense of responsibility. So it's really, really good for popularity and having, lots of friends and being seen well. And also, might I add, very, very good for physical health. So that's that. So yeah, that's like the big warning with Libra, is like to watch out for codependency. You're really not trying to, because like, as a South Node in Aquarius, there's definitely been lifetimes where you have kind of put your sidelined your personal like creative development for the sake of like the collective. And I'm still saying that's something that you're meant to be doing, but you're also meant to like share like these different creative talents and really like get in touch with your inner child in this lifetime. That's another thing that I should definitely add with the Leo North Node, is like, yeah, being in touch with the inner child. And yeah, that's mega important. But yeah, okay, so to further what I was saying, the fact that you have Black Moon Lilith conjunct Pluto in Libra, to me that is just like an indicator of like exactly what I just said, that at your darkest energy, like kind of like you at your lowest, can totally be like the people pleaser. You also have to watch out for like gossiping and being inauthentic, right? Like those are just things you have to watch out for. They're not actually energies in your chart. Black Moon Lilith is kind of like our self-defeating potentials, and in the first house, it can be like making things too much about yourself, I guess you could say, and watching out for that purpose. But at the same time, you are meant to kind of be like that. So it is kind of a head scrambler, right? Your chart's really making me think. Let's go back to face cam. So just meant to you. So yeah, another way of looking at it is that when you're upset, like other people, like it follows that other people are also upset. Like, and also when you're happy, everyone around you is happy, right? That's like kind of the Libra energy. But like what can happen with the Black Moon is that you think that it's because of other people's behavior, but a lot of times it's you who have like, because you have such that big energy with within that first house. First house is the house of self. It's you, the one who might really be kind of inadvertently kind of bringing that out and lashing out in certain ways. It can also indicate like withdrawal from the company of others, and also like your like dark feelings can like affect your physical appearance or mental health. But once you like claim your own feelings and break the cycle of blame, I'm reading now, by the way. You are free of self-defeating behavior, self-understanding, and acceptance, which brings relief and perhaps joy into your life. You gain wisdom and may choose to counsel others. And then also Black Moon Libra, just like don't procrastinate, don't gossip. some people with this can like be too focused on like other people's affairs, but I really take it back to like, excuse me, I have a tick in my throat. My mom always says you have a tick in your throat. I just always sometimes go. Some people hate it. A lot of people do. I won't do it again. But yeah, like overall, like I just think that like yeah, there's a need to like have a firm foundation, firm values that you set yourself you live your life based off of, and that's that. But then again, like having such a strong first house is like you're meant to really, really manifest yourself in this lifetime. So it's really important that you do that in a way that is, yeah, Libra, with other people, but not to the point to where it's like you're codependent, you need your friends around you at all times, this, that, and the fourth, right? Like still having independence, but then also being very social, right? But like finding the balance between those two in your romantic relationships and in your friendships, right? Where like your friends, like both of them are like kind of pushing you towards like this individualism that your Uranus, I'll share again, on your sun is asking for, and that your karma is asking for. Sorry. Okay, so then Venus, okay. So Venus in the first house, it's an interesting one for sure. I mean, Venus in Libra is beautiful, right? It's in dignity. It's the best place with Taurus that you can have your Venus. Makes one very, very like creative, very talented. So you might be someone who like really like is very beautiful, honestly, and who attracts people easily. And Jupiter, like yeah, just very, very outwardly expansive. So very, very good ones. Now, Venus in the first house would indicate like I was saying before, like there's a need to balance out Libra and Aries, that axis, right? Being like in relationships, like not like being like the balance between like codependency and just like complete independence. Like I don't give a shit, like I'm doing things my way. Like finding that balance. So in like any kind of relationship that you have, right, where you feel like kind of locked down, like as a cat moon, you're gonna like relationships that you want to feel proud of your partner. You really want to feel like you guys are like a power couple, right? And it's fourth house, so also there's like a huge family link. Like there's definitely like kind of a desire to start a family with your to have someone who's really serious. That it's a very serious placement. Like Capricorn Moon people, like I mean I know some that, but it's just based on other parts of their chart. Like it's more of a serious approach to relationships and emotional need for like stability. Like someone that is going to be the same person day after day, who's not going to just switch up on you, right? Especially as a sensitive Scorpio. Maybe you've been through heartbreak, and it can be difficult for water signs in general to trust again once they've been hurt, like really difficult. So you prefer the sure thing, that person that you can just look at and they're not going to cheat, they're not going to just like I mean anything can happen in life, right? People kind of grow apart, it happens, but like that person that it's not going to be like you feel like some kind of like I know this person, like even like in which is interesting because you have your Venus is actually in a positive aspect to your nodes, which is like meaning that all your relationships will be very, very karmic in nature and very fated. So that will kind of second what I was just saying. Okay, I see. So the fact that the big thing here, Venus is conjunct. So in relationships, you're really looking for a lot of harmoniousness, a lot of fairness, a lot of balance, a lot of like peace, quiet. Like you're not looking for like some rowdy shit, But at the same time, you do seek that independence. But this is the thing. Venus is conjunct Pluto. Pluto here, Venus here. Now that is extremely important, right? And it's 8 degrees, so it's still an orb. And also Saturn is like just like, I mean, it's 9 degrees, so like it's like kind of like a midpoint between the two, and basically that would, you know, signify like lots of like and Saturn's basically 6 degrees, so it's, yeah, it's basically a midpoint. So a lot of your shadow will, like a lot of the shadow in your life, like the kind of death, rebirth, transformation will come out in relationships, which is I swear I say that so often. It's just such a common theme for my clients, where it's through their romantic relationships that they really experience that shadow, you know, that darkness, that part of themselves that they didn't know really existed. And then that's where the work comes in. You know, having Jupiter in the first house is beautiful. I already talked about it. Like very, very good for like being, you know, like someone who can like really like inspire other people, great leadership. Saturn, you know, the same thing, although there could be like some physical limitations when young. You know, overall, I'll go back to face a little bit. Overall, Saturn in the first house, you know, conjunct the ascendant, it gives one like a very responsible, so it's really good for like getting jobs. Like if you, I always say like the Saturn rising person, like if there's 3 people in a job interview, they all are exactly equally qualified. The person with Capricorn rising is getting the job, or with Saturn rising, same thing, similar thing. But yeah, it speaks also to like this early kind of like difficulty in expressing yourself, like I've said many times, which can come from, you know, feelings of inadequacy from early childhood, all things I talked about, right? But it makes one very, very like had to kind of grow up quick a lot of the times, and very responsible and reliable. But yeah, like with the Jupiter, it's like kind of offsetting that, and it gives them like a larger than life presence also, like, and very inspirational to other people, and like a really good teacher. And then in Libra Jupiter, it's like it gives one a really strong sense of like, it makes one very relationship oriented, but in all that Libra stuff does. Hey, Esme. But it gives one a very strong sense of diplomacy and justice. So, and you'll be someone who wants to like express spirituality through your relationships, and not just romantic. Yeah, Libra rising there tend to have a very beautiful kind of gravitational energy to them. Like people come to them, people feel very, very calm with them. They're the people come to in conflicts. They're the balancers, right? So then having, you know, Venus there, you know, you have to watch out for codependency and being too relationship oriented, right? But like also, like I said, it's very good for like the, you know, like the arts and just like being and having expressing beauty and loving like the arts, or being really good at it. But yeah, it gives one to express either through themselves or through their creations, or beauty and love. And in the first house, and in Libra, yeah, like I said, like a strong need for relationships, and like ones they're like I said, like harmonious, peaceful, even creative, and it makes one really like to have like very beautiful decorations in their house, beautiful possessions, stuff like that. And then your Juno, which is like the asteroid of love, is right on your Venus, so it's literally saying that your ideal like marriage partner is, you know, at the same time, you know, it goes exactly with what I just said, right? Like you know, someone who considers you as an equal, peace and harmony are like are a must. Like good communication. In the first house, yeah, like kind of like you might feel more able to be yourself when you have a supportive relationship. And you know, wanting someone who also has their shit together, who has their life you know, who's headed in some kind of, not necessarily pioneering, but who's headed in a distinct direction that they're very proud of. Okay, so Then Pluto in the first, you know, it's conjunct Black Moon Lilith. That's just like speaking more to how big of a how big of a leadership potential you have. Like, and how you can like really like on an external level go through these massive death, rebirths, and transformations, where you constantly challenge yourself and others to embrace change. So it goes perfectly with that Scorpio part of you, and it gives a very powerful personality. Let's go back. I'm gonna pop open my Pluto book, which I haven't popped open in so long. It's like a little handwritten book that I don't even know where it is. Shit. Oh, it's underneath all my driving stuff. I can't burn my imagine I if I did like a ceremony burning my driving stuff and I burnt like the document I still need, and if I lose it, I'm fucked. And I have to retake the test. That would be, I don't even want to think about that. So yeah, Pluto in the first house, you know, it's a very strong lifetime. It's a very like you know, Pluto is your shadow, so it's like where you need to go dig deep within yourself to kind of find. So Pluto in the first house, I wrote the deepest evolutionary impulses towards independence. Perhaps this was held back in some way in a past life. This will be felt instinctually, and there could be little insight into this. There could have a conflict between the soul. This is important, between the soul and the ego. The evolutionary purpose is to search for the self, for the fulfillment of one's individual potential. Aries wants novelty / instinctual bodily experience, right? That's like Aries, like the first house. While Pluto, Scorpio, wants a deep inner psychological meaning of experience. So it can lead to repressed rage against self or other. There can also be like I already talked about this, inner fear of imprisonment in relationships. And the polarity point, which is kind of like, I guess you could say like where it can get resolved, is in the 7th house, right? So reaching out in relationships to help you understand, you know, what you want to do, this conflict between soul and ego, right? Another interesting thing is that you can be very instinctually drawn to some people, but while being like held by others, like very like intense kind of polarization between these two. And yeah, it can definitely lead to like repetitive relationship issues and cycles. So the critical factor in transcending this intimacy paradox is choosing the right partner, basically, right? So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's very heavy and conjunct, you know, Black and Lilith. It could indicate that you might be someone who like acquiesces. That's another part of the shadow of Libra, who like acquiesces and stays in relationships that they don't actually at a soul level really want to be in. So very important to kind of like know that and to make the necessary changes. And of course, that all goes back to what? To find that strong set of values that you can subscribe to and make your life decisions based off of. Okay. And the fact that Venus is conjunct Pluto, as I said before, like you can definitely be, you know, your love life can be very dark. Like until you learn self-love, you could be you can be attracted to like, you know, very dark types of people. You know, I have Venus square Pluto, so the conjunction is not like as difficult, but it definitely still is. Basically, like once again, you know, you will be very repelled by some people, but then also very attracted, like super mega attracted to others. Almost like what can happen with that sometimes is that like you can love so intensely that it's just like it's too much for some people, especially as a Libra, and it can almost like create like a codependent energy. And remember, when I'm speaking about this, I'm speaking about you as like this. I would read this the same if you were 18, 22, 30, 40, 50. This is all like, you know, I'm not like, you know, free will meets the natal chart, right? So yeah, that's really important stuff. And yeah, so like until you learn like really real deep self-love. You might be like attracted to like, you know, very like kind of dark partners, I guess you could say, right? Yeah, very dark partners. I want to like check to make sure that my audio, it's just Mercury retrograde. Okay, is it working? Hello, hello, hello. One sec. Okay, cool. We're good. So yeah, that's very, very important to know about. So yeah, aside from that, okay, so we haven't talked about, okay, Mars and Neptune together. Ultra, it's in the what house? Third house. So like I got this instinct of like writing, like literally like right away. I don't know where it came from. I just got this thought. I didn't look at the asteroids, the fixed stars, but I just got this thought. This thought came to me. I was like, that's bizarre. Oh my god, I just pulled off a successful pour. Oh, I spilled a tiny bit. But yeah, so basically, like, you know, as having that in Sagittarius, you're gonna be. I always have like same things, like similar client, like back to back. But you know, you're gonna be someone who's really gonna be able to communicate slash write slash whatever it is, third house, you know, think there's a real connection between three things: your thoughts, like how you think, how you speak, all that, one; your actions, which is your Mars, which is in Sagittarius, which is about going towards deep philosophy and also traveling physically or metaphorically; and then Neptune, which is like this like your imagination, like being connected to the collective unconscious, right? Now, one thing you have to watch out for Mars Neptune is you know, it's very romantic, but it's also it can be prone to escapism. So you have to watch out for like any kinds of addictions. Although, like, I swear to God, like I've had so many clients where, like, I swear my clients like a lot like this ends up like Mars like squares Neptune or more, you know, more the square, the opposition, especially the square can like lead to addictions. But like I swear, like none of my clients have them. It's really interesting. So make sure to remind me about that. Or like escapist tendencies. Um, but yeah, it just gives like a very special kind of aura that can fill a room, magnetic appeal. Yeah, it's just like this very strong spiritual energy that either like attracts or scares people, right? Um, and you have this like inward like faith, this fountain of like of purpose that just guides you, and you can visualize your desires and really like move towards your goals, and you feel this like special like spiritual purpose in your life, right? This calling. You probably have interesting and experiences that like you probably can't talk to everyone about as it relates to your you know, your spiritual, your life in general. Like maybe you've had like seen UFOs or like some like paranormal activity or something like that, right? But it can also be controversial because not everyone will agree necessarily. So yeah, it's a visionary dreamer kind of archetype, but you have to remember to like stay grounded in reality. Also watch out for like, yeah, addiction, disappointment, being lied to. Like you can't have your perception of how people are clouded by illusion. You have to realize that you're very unique and not everyone's going to be like you. Now I want to go, okay, so you have water, air, fire. Yeah, you have every element. um so yeah, and then having Mars, you know, where it is basically like, you know, you're going to be someone who probably likes to really travel a lot. Gemini rules the ninth house. Mercury rulership of the ninth house. Really likes to communicate a lot and learn a lot about foreign places, stuff like that. Do research and you know, yeah. So yeah, I think with the Mars and Sag, you can talk more about that in that conjunction. I'm curious to know how that works out. Now, third house Neptune by itself, and also it's going to give you this really great third house, this really great kind of firepower towards like communicating your truth, whether in some like really like this ability to like state your thoughts very strongly, very properly. and really impact like your immediate surroundings. Also, sometimes I have to say that this relates to siblings, so there could be some kind of confusion around your siblings with Neptune there, and even clashes with Mars there. Yeah, it makes this one very, very adventurous. So it's really, really good with the rest of your chart. Like it's the needed fire in your chart, and it really helps out your North Node. It trines your North Node. So following that Sagittarius energy is really like it's kind of helping you go towards your metaphoric mountain never climbed in past lives. So then with Neptune in the third house, it's like it can make one super, super creative where they can communicate through the arts or through spiritual pursuits. Like think of like Jungian, like automatic writing, meditate or whatever, and then you just start writing. So very, very good. But also it can have mental, like a mental effect, like mental confusion and fog and a scattered mind. So you know, it doesn't have any difficult aspects though, so that's good. I mean, it conjuncts Mars, so I would see them working together in a powerful manner. I wonder what this book says about that. It's like just saying like a few keywords. Okay, conjunctions with high artistic gifts may be present, strong sense of design and color, romantic, passionate. There you go. Stronger. I think, yeah, I really resonate with that very short. Let me keep this book out. Explanation. Yeah. So aside from that, where are we at? So your descendants in Aries, so you'll be attracted probably to, also like one thing to add to kind of like all this is like someone who can really, like I said before, who can stand their ground, and who like it goes back because it's in the house of Libra. So it's like you're really looking for a relationship that has that real balance of Aries, independence, being your own person, but also like like the extreme between codependence and just like not giving a shit, not compromising at all. The middle ground is the beauty point, and that's where you're trying to get, where you're not giving up all your individuality. You're still able to, conquest everything that I'm talking about in this reading. But yeah, it's also supporting. The Chiron I talked about, 8th house Chiron also like can talk about like some sexual inadequacies, like where there can be like some kind of trauma, not all the time trauma, but like just like feeling inadequate sexually. Also just feeling very like lots of pain to like the undercurrents, of the world and all that stuff. But it's a very good sign of being someone who can be the kind of healer that's a very like who can heal kind of how I do. Like, oh, I'm at 11th house Chiron, but like kind of healing through your intuition, right? And I already talked about the Taurus, like lack of self-worth, and sometimes people who have that, they like try to like accrue lots of possessions and money to make up for it. So it's all about going within. Also, there can be like a distrust of the body. So things like yoga can be super powerful, like martial arts or working out or whatever it is that makes you feel good. And it's all about like learning to like, my cat's making me play fetch with him. Watch this. Headaches. Oh fuck! It came back. Yeah. So like learning to kind of trust your body's messages, which I've said before. Okay, midheaven in Cancer. What can we make of that? I mean, I think it's about time for me to pull up all the fixed stars and asteroids. Where we at time-wise once. Okay. You want to make people feel at ease through whatever you're doing career-wise. You also want to have like a safe and secure position. Caring for others is huge. But also with Cancer, you have to remember it's opposite side of Capricorn. So there's definitely like a need for stability within the career. Also mothering could be something that really plays a huge role in your life, in your dharma. And yeah, there can be like you want to have an emotional kind of connection to your career, and it's you know, it's ruled by the moon in Capricorn, so you know, public status probably does matter to you to some extent, I would imagine, but like maybe it doesn't also because of the Uranus conjunct Sun. So definitely like this is more a complex reading. But the beautiful thing about this is I guarantee you, if you get this reading from 5 different astrologers, you're gonna hear like 5 different takes. Like I guarantee you'll never hear a take like this one of your chart. And if you do, let me know. I mean, I would just be surprised. I don't know. Maybe you would, but I don't think so because I'm 1000% self-taught. And of course, I read books and stuff, but whatever. Okay, so vertex in the 5th. That kind of goes with what I was just kind of saying. But my mind went somewhere else, so I forgot what I was talking about. Oh God. Well, actually, before I talk about that, I want to talk about Uranus in the 2nd house by itself. That can create like lots of ups and downs in finances. So, the way to deal with that is to just understand, like lots of people that have that, they can be like more minimalist and more bohemian and stuff like that. It's just like it goes back to the whole thing of the inner values, not the outer values. And then, you know, a 2nd house sun can be someone who's just like a powerhouse with money and very, very successful in that area of life. Vertex 5th house, you know, lots of like, yeah, you can you can like gain a lot through children, through having your own children. You can gain a lot through them. It can be like your doorway to higher awareness. Also, like one other thing about relationships is that you'll probably come off as kind of like it's like your 2nd ascendant. The vertex, like it's like your relationship ascendant. You can definitely come off as kind of like not like disattached, but like very a little bit eccentric, a little bit different than, you know, what most people are used to. And maybe in relationships you do kind of come across as a little bit disattached with the Uranus on your sun, and really needing lots of space. Because that's another thing about the Sagg energy. It, you know, Mars and Sagg, that will make you like you know, be on this like this drive towards freedom. Okay, so I haven't missed anything. Nope. Did that. Okay. Yeah. So let's pull up the. And also, like your doorway to higher awareness can be through like service to humanity, which is literally what your, you know, 11th house North Node is saying. Selfless service to humanity, which might be your profession. Okay, lots going on. Okay, so I just pull up the fixed stars and see if we see any big things happening. Spica's conjunct Pluto. I don't know what that means. Is there any information on that available? It's one of the best stars, but it's really hard to find any info on. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, it's nothing there, nothing there. Okay, yeah. Like I said, writing, Zubin El Shalami, conjunct, exact conjunction with the sun. So I'm not saying I'd be surprised if you're not a writer, but like definitely like you know, a communicator. Like that's literally the star about writers. Very like, about the mind, intellect. Let's see here. Good for studies and mental forces. Can make lawyers, scientists. But definitely. Let's see. Great, good fortune, high position, transitory difficulties eventually proving beneficial, favors civil servants, lawyers, and scientists. But yeah, the part that they're leaving out is like, really, really good, for writing, and that being like a part of who you are, like identity wise. Okay, moving on. Nope. Nothing there. Descendant. Nope. Nothing there either. Yeah, so I'm not really seeing that like I usually see at least a few. But we'll go ahead and we'll search really quickly. But you have lots of conjunctions of like actual planets of planets, which are more powerful. I mean, besides like the 4 row stars and Spica. Okay, so 6. Let's look at 6. 6 Cancer and 6 Libra. Let's look for the see if there's anything around there. From this fixed star list. 6 Cancer and 6 Libra. That's an important one. And then a Libra. But this one's Tejat posterior. Let's see if he gives anything. Guess? No. Wow. Guess what? Guess what Tejat posterior star conjunct midheaven means? Success in literary and legal professions. Love of poetry, painting, teaching, quick mind was the ascendant one. Damn. So I'm curious about your writing. And it might be a latent talent. Like I didn't know I was an astrologer till, what, like 6 years ago or something. I mean, I'm at year 4.5 of my professional like career. I think probably 5 years. Like I really, really hit the ground like extremely fast, So it's never too late to kind of start something. Okay, so Zubanel Shalami, and then 0 Capricorn. We'll just see if there's anything there. Nope. So that is it. Thank you very much. I hope that you appreciate the reading. I definitely went all in and gave you every bit of information. I'm gonna screenshot it that I could. So we shall be in touch. You purchased a follow-up, as I said earlier. So you can take as long as you want. A lot of people take a minute to kind of take that all in, I guess you could say. And yeah, when you're ready, you can come through. You can just message me on Instagram or wherever, and set that up. And like I said, I already told you about the chance to mix them together. I said with a $30 discount. So just let me know. And anything else? Let me think. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you so much, and talk soon, and I hope you enjoyed. All right, bye-bye. Ciao.